Ooh, Lord, yes, that's perfect, I guarantee. Hi, folks, I'm Pat Boone, and these are two of my brilliant and charming young grandkids, Jesse and Ryan, becoming gourmet cooks, as you see. And right over here, the lovely young lady who started this whole thing with me, my wife, Shirley. I'm going to be your host and video tour guide through the world of RVing. We've been RV enthusiasts for over, what, 25 years now? We started when we were young.
Very young.
Yeah, right out of grade school, as I remember. Now, RVing is fast becoming one of America's favorite national pastimes. Actually has been for quite a while. It may amaze you to find out that currently there are over 25 million RV enthusiasts out there on the road. And, of course, one of the reasons for its tremendous popularity, this RVing thing, at least for us, is these knuckle domes sitting right here around me. See, my family's always been the most important part of my life, and RVing affords us not only the opportunity to spend time with each other, and that's wonderful, but also to explore, to discover new places and new interests together, and at the same time, continue some old family traditions like roasting marshmallows by the campfire. Hey, you kids better go easy on those things. If you eat too many, we're going to get in hot water with your mama.
What do you mean, we, Kimasabi? The marshmallows were your idea.
Well, yeah, but roasting cauliflower takes too long. Besides, we're grandparents. We're supposed to spoil them a little bit, aren't we? Right, kids?
Where the good?
Yeah, they grow more teeth.
Oh, goodness.
Now, we're camped out here in Lake Elsinore, California, a beautiful place about 75 miles southeast of Los Angeles. And getting here is what this video is all about. It's an introduction to the world of RVing, geared toward the first-time buyer. But it's also going to include information and lots of tips that should be of interest to the current RVer as well. There's so many aspects to RVing that we couldn't possibly cover them all in one show, so we're doing the logical thing. We've decided to start at the beginning. You're going to see a lot of styles of RVs. You're going to learn how to select the type and the model that best suits your needs and maybe your particular taste. We're going to also learn a lot about how they operate, what it takes to maintain them. But most importantly, I think, what we hope to communicate is the joy of the lifestyle. See, it's really about family, and not just your immediate folks, but the bigger family atmosphere created by the entire nationwide RV community. So, let's get started on this fantastic journey. You never know what Jane Fonda is to exercise videos. I just might become to RVs.
You keep eating those marshmallows and you'll need to do an exercise video.
You might not be able to tell from this beautiful, peaceful country-style setting, but I'm in the middle of the world's largest RV shopping center, Travelland, USA. It's located in Irvine, California. Right here, there are 30 dealerships, over 1,000 models of RVs, not to mention the ducks and the geese. And there are a variety of types of RVs, ranging in size and price, from the inexpensive and economical folding camping trailers to the luxurious Class A motorhomes. Now, because of the variety, a first-time buyer can be overwhelmed by all the choices. So in this part of the video, we're going to explore the considerations to take into account in selecting the RV that really best suits your needs and your budget. For first-time buyers, an RV is a significant monetary commitment, of course, so I highly recommend getting as much information as possible before you go shopping. Besides watching this video over and over and over again, I hope, there are lots of ways to get information about RVs. Look in RV buyers' guides, RV magazines with appropriate names like Trailer Life, Motorhome, and often the best way is to just talk with other RVers, folks that have been there. Now for some hard facts. There are 5 types of RVs, and basically they break down into 2 categories. Those that are motorized and driven, motorhomes and van conversions, and those that are towed, travel trailers, truck campers, and folding camping trailers. Well, hey, maybe we've talked about them enough. Let's go take a look at them. First-time buyers can easily be overwhelmed by the variety of models available, so we asked Ron Crump, an RV expert here at Travelland, to show us around and describe the various uses of the vehicles we'll be looking at. But before we check out specific models, I asked Ron to describe some of the differences between trailers and motorhomes.
Pat, trailers can only be used when they're stopped or parked. Generally, they're less expensive because you don't need a drivetrain or you don't have the engine, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Trailers can be unhitched, which leaves the towing vehicle to be used for other purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Motorhomes are usable even when they're driving. They usually have their own generators and power supplies, which means that they don't need to rely upon the campground hookups as much. Since trailers are towables, represent about 2/3 of the RV market in the United States, we need to take a look at the various types of these first.
Hey, Ron, tell me about this beautiful vehicle here. What do we call it?
This is a fifth wheel, Pat. It's 32.5 long. And then notice it has 2 doors and 2 entry steps.
I like that.
Lots of access in and out. And then as we go forward now, we're looking under the compartments here to the propane compartments and also the battery compartments.
They utilize every nook and cranny. Why do we call it a fifth wheeler?
It's called a fifth wheeler. If you'll look at this hitch right underneath here, you'll notice that it extends down. That fits into a fifth wheel type hitch like the large trucks that you see on the road. And it's pulled by a truck, usually a pickup truck, 3/4 1-ton truck.
A lot of advantages for the fifth wheeler. Let's go inside and take a look.
Right.
This is beautiful. Split level. It's an estate.
It is. As we get into the larger size fifth wheels especially, you'll notice all of the extra room that you have here in this coach.
This is home.
It certainly is. Did you notice the front living room?
Oh, yeah, and as I say, split level and kitchen, regular big kitchen. I guess the freezer.
Yes, this is a double door refrigerator. Notice you have lots of storage place here for all of your smaller things, as well as you have a large freezer on the top to store the fish that you catch, perhaps, if you're out fishing.
Yeah. Microwave, latest technology.
All of the comforts of home.
Now, what does the first-time buyer
Right.
to ensure that it's well made?
I think I would look for quality of workmanship. I wouldn't be afraid to check the cabinet door catches, for example, to see if they fit snugly so that they aren't going to come open during transportation. I'd check for underneath the kitchen cabinets. Be sure that everything is in place and neatly done. For example, the sealant and the wiring and the plumbing. Be sure that it's strapped securely so that you won't have troubles later. Be sure that your roll goods and your carpets are firmly attached so that you don't have difficulty with that later.
What about that little RVIA medallion?
I'm glad you brought that up. It's very important in this industry. It's a seal of good merchandise or a good product that's been approved.
Now, what about the appropriate vehicle to draw a fifth wheeler to tow it?
Now, a fifth wheel would take a pickup. Depending upon the size, your smaller ones, you would use probably a half-ton pickup. But into one to this side, you would take a 3/4 ton, and much beyond this, you would go to a 1-ton.
What are the advantages of a fifth wheeler? I mean, what's it got over other kinds of RV?
Well, first, the room. As you look around and you see the room in the bedroom, you see the room in the front with the front living room, this particular model, you have just an expanse that's open to move around, to have more people. You can unhook the truck and take it away. I think that's what you're referring to.
Yes, I think for me, the fifth wheeler, the ability to put your home here and then to take the towing vehicle anywhere else you want to go.
Exactly.
And speaking of going, if you plan to buy a fifth wheel, you're not going too far until you become familiar with the process of hitching and unhitching.
Notice we're backing the truck up until the hitch securely locks into place. Then we go underneath the trailer at the back of the bed and plug in the power cord, the 12-volt power cord, so that we will use the power to raise and lower the coach. I'm now taking the cable from the safety breakaway cable and securing it to the bracket on the side of the truck, and place, of course, the lock pin in it. Then we go underneath again to the front of the trailer and press the switch, which will lower the coach until all of the weight rests on the back of the truck. After this is done, we go to the one side again and we raise the landing gear or the leg and secure it into place so that it will not come loose. And then finally, Pat, We step out as a safety precaution and check to be sure that everything is secure and in place on the side, the rear, and around the trailer in order to transport it safely.
An all-important question, Ron, what does the fifth wheeler cost generally?
I felt you would get around to that.
Yeah.
They start at around $7,000 for the smaller units, and the top-of-the-line unit on a larger unit may run as high as $25,000, $30,000 plus.
If you get real fancy, huh?
That's correct.
And this is one of the fancier ones, I think.
This is a very nice unit, that's right.
We've only seen the front half. What are you hiding back here?
Well, let me show you. Notice we have the large tub and shower, a full-size tub and a full-size shower enclosure.
That is dandy.
And
Really?
notice over here, we have a nice medicine cabinet as well as the cabinets. That
Yeah.
And then let me show you the back. Look at
Yeah.
the back here. Notice we have a large island bed, it's called. That means that it's easy for the wife or the husband, whichever, to make the bed. And you have access to it all the way around.
And this one has the rear door, but I want to go up here first and experience this raised living room. Up the steps into a wonderful, spacious living room. Ron, this is amazing.
I think you're about to become an addict.
Yeah, and it's comfortable too. I could get used to this.
Yes.
Ron, each manufacturer, of course, has a wide variety of innovative designs and floor plans available. Virtually any arrangement that may be possible. Let's show the folks a few more ideas. Now, before we move on, let's quickly review the fifth wheeler. Prices run from $7,000 on up to $30,000 for the larger luxury model. It's big or as small as you want, from 17 feet to 40 feet long. And you have the flexibility of hitching and unhitching the tow vehicle at the campsite for use on side trips. Also, the raised forward section creates a bi-level floor plan and affords more living space than the conventional travel trailer. Most units will require a 3/4 or 1-ton pickup as a tow vehicle.
Okay, Pat, let's go over to the other side of the lake and take a look at what for many years has been the standard of the industry, the conventional travel trailer.
So, the granddaddy of the towables. And this one's a nice little size.
It sure is, Pat. You know, they vary in size from 13 to about 40 feet, and in price from $5,000 to $40,000, depending upon the features.
Uh-huh. Well, let's take a look inside these conventional
Yep,
trailers.
we are. Look at the features.
Ron, the conventional travel trailer differs from the fifth wheel in the way it hitches up to the tow vehicle. Exactly what's involved?
Well, Pat, notice first that we're plugging in the power cord in order that we can use the electric jack on the trailer. Of course, this makes it a lot easier for us to lower it all the way down so that it'll rest securely on the ball that's mounted on the hitch on the back of the tow vehicle. Then we lock it into place with the physical lock. Then at that point, we raise it back up, taking the weight off of the back of the truck and off of the front of the trailer in order that it will make it easier for us to hook up the safety chains on both sides and also to hook up the weight distribution or the spring bars on both sides. Then we take the chain and hook it to the mount on the side of the trailer using a little help with a bar or a tube, and we raise it into place and hold it and lock it securely with the latch pin. When that's done, then we lower the vehicle, placing the weight back on the two vehicles at a level position. And now we reach down and be sure that we remove the jack stand in order that it won't strike something or come off during transportation. And of course, finally, we need to be sure that we reach forward and hook up the breakaway or the safety cable in order to apply the brakes. And Pat, that's about it.
Now, once again, because of its versatility, the conventional travel trailer is the most popular RV on today's highways. We've seen that they range in size from 13 to 35 feet and in price from $5,000 to $36,000. Their wide variety of floor plans allow them to sleep anywhere from 4 to 8 people. And there is one other plus. The old reliable family car often serves just fine as the towing vehicle. You know, my experiences with RVs have been mostly with motorhomes, but I'm beginning to see the attraction that people have to the flexibility of trailers. And next up on our list is the most versatile towable of them all. Hey, this is a compact little beauty.
It certainly is. It's a tent trailer that can be towed by almost any vehicle that you have. Notice some of the things that are outside. The battery, the butane compartments that are under the front. This is the RVIA tag.
Extremely important. And the crank?
Yes, that's how you raise and lower for either staying in it or for driving and pulling it down the road to storage.
I got to take a look inside.
Let's go.
Where's this what?
Wow. Now listen, Ron, you and I are both about 6 feet. I know I am, and I got plenty of headroom in what looked like a very small camper.
You're right, it is. It's large for its size.
Now, what does something like this cost?
They can vary from around $1,800 to $8,000, depending upon the options that you have with them.
So a young family with kids can probably get into one of these and really use them, huh?
Yes, they can. Very usable piece of equipment.
And how long does it take to set one of these things up?
10 to 15 minutes. In fact, even you and I could do that.
Are you serious? Without an engineering degree?
That's right.
Use that crank just and up it goes.
And up it comes into place after releasing the catches, of course.
And then all of these windows, all these extensions just open out pretty easily?
They slide out and you brace them. There's 2 braces on each end.
And these vinyl windows not only let the breeze in, they make it private, but they really give it a huge openness, a big wide open feel.
Nice for in a nice campground, the outdoors. If you love the outdoors and the sound of the birds and the water, this is the rig to have.
How many can sleep in here?
6 can sleep in here. If you'll notice, there's a queen-size bed here. Beyond us at the other end, we have a double size, and then where you're setting also makes down into a double-sized bed.
And what about all the other features?
Well, for example, like the other coaches we've looked at, there's a 3-burner stove, which is right here. Down below, right here by your knee, we have a refrigerator as well. So there's 2 other things, and then a shower and full bathroom in the back.
Now, it's wonderful in warm weather. What happens if it gets cold?
Well, then you reach over and you hit the thermostat and turn on the forced air fan. We have a furnace mounted in here.
There's a furnace.
There is a
cold
furnace.
weather.
And then if it's too cold while you're taking your shower, there's a water heater mounted below.
Am I sitting on the
right above
the
a
water heater underneath?
That's right.
Some of the ingenious things, they can use little space and make it account for so much. So, Ron, let me touch again on what we've learned about the uniqueness of the camping trailer. Their collapsible sides fold down into an incredibly compact towing unit that can sleep up to 8 people. And in some models, you can have water, electrical hookups, and even modern appliances, just like those in the bigger rigs. What appeals to many people is the small size of this unit, 5 feet 4 inches to 17 feet when folded. And perhaps even more appealing, they're affordable, with prices ranging from $1,800 to $8,000. Oh yeah, it's pretty easy to be impressed with the folding camping trailer, but Ron, you have one last type of towable to show us, don't you?
Yes, Pat. It's the pickup camper, or we also call it the truck camper. You can see that the camping unit is designed to fit right into the chassis of the pickup truck.
What a great design. And this is just your basic pickup, right?
Correct. And that's what makes this rig so
I always use my basic.
Pickup, you're well over halfway home. You see, the camping units run from only $2,000 to around $10,000.
Boy, what a beautiful and inexpensive way to get into the world of RVing.
Absolutely.
I guess campers are available to fit nearly any pickup, aren't they?
Sure. From the 6-foot pop-up versions, which fits the small import trucks, or right on up to the 11-foot units for full-size trucks.
Well, let's take a look at some of the surprisingly spacious interiors in these piggyback campers. Okay, Ron, let's see what we've learned about the pickup camper. The camping insert can run anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 and ranges in length from 6 to 11 feet long. These units sleep 2 to 6 people, and like other trailers, can be separated from the truck at campsite, allowing you more freedom for side trips. And They're ideal for the sportsman who prefers to hit the back roads in search of those more primitive camping areas. Well, Ron, I think we've seen all the towables by now. What do you say we move on to the motorized RVs? Here's one with an interesting name, van conversion.
That's right. That's because it's a regular street van that has been converted to be used as an RV.
Hey, this is really something.
Yes, and look back here, too.
I assume these stairs give you access to the roof?
That's right. Here you go.
Wow, look at this. Beautiful carpeting, even a sofa bed. Haha, pretty neat.
And of course, you can also enter from this side here.
You know, I like the idea of having lots of access. It makes loading and unloading so much easier. Oh, Ron, I drool over this one. This has got a sensual feel to it, and it's got all the options, does it?
Yes, it certainly does. The same as you would on any other RV.
You mean cooking and refrigeration?
Exactly. In fact, look here. We have the cooking. We have the water. We have the bathroom in the back. We have a nice bed that makes out here as well as a nice couch.
How many can this sleep?
This will sleep 2 the way it's presently set up.
And are there some that sleep more?
Oh, yes. Some of them have bunk beds and you can sleep more.
So it can be a family vehicle.
Yes, it can.
What age group seems to like this best?
Probably 30 to 40. However, you'll find that even those of more age like it as well because of the compactness, the fuel economy, the ease to drive.
Even when we get older, we may like it.
Exactly, I agree.
It's not hard to drive, is it?
No, you get a motorhome feel. However, you get the smallness and the compactness of your family van.
I understand van conversions can run anywhere from $15,000 to $35,000, and because of their size and fuel economy, serve very well as a second car. So these little numbers are not only fun, they're practical as well. So once again, van conversions provide all the basic motorhome conveniences in a very compact space. And they serve as excellent travel vehicles because of their size, maneuverability, and fuel economy. And depending on size and layout, can sleep from 2 to 4 people. For the young couple who can spend $15,000 to $35,000, lives in an urban area and want to use their RV as a second car, the van conversion is the ideal choice. You know, Ron, the van conversion just kind of whets my appetite to have a look at some of the bigger motorhomes. Have you got a Class C waiting for us somewhere around here?
I certainly do. Pat, this rig owes its compactness to the fact that it also is built on a van chassis. But of course, it has been completely reworked.
Yeah, like this area over the cab. That gives you a lot of space, doesn't it?
It sure does. In fact, you have a full-time bed in that section, which frees up a lot more living space inside.
How big do they get? And what kind of prices are we talking about here?
Class C's run between 20 to 28 feet, but don't let their small size fool you. They're not cut rate. In fact, these rigs can be as luxurious as you want them to be. They start at about $20,000, Pat, and they run right up to $50,000.
So Class C's are really just a more economical and compact version of the larger Class A's.
You could say that, Pat, and
Here.
a much more affordable price range.
Okay, Ron, you say Class C motorhomes offer many of the conveniences of the Class A, but
The
more
granddaddies.
compact package at a lower price. One of its more attractive features is the full-time bed located over the cab that allows for more living area inside. In length, they run from 20 to 28 feet, and they can run in price anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. Okay, Ron, I think I am ready and chomping at the bit. Let's move on to the big daddy of them all.
Granddaddy of it
That's
all.
what you're talking about, Pat?
Right.
I love my
Class A
Class
This one is the top of the line, a 40-footer.
Wow, I've been through towns if this wouldn't fit in. It's just breathtaking.
Like I said, this is the top
Really,
of the line.
oh, this guy.
$300,000, and some even go up to $500,000.
$300,000, $500,000? I hope all Class A's aren't that expensive.
No, not at all. In fact, some of the smaller 23-foot units start at around $40,000 and go up from there.
Well, that's good news. I'm just amazed by the luxury of the hand-finished wood panel, painted glass on the doors, leather-covered seating, queen-size bed, and the latest in home appliances and entertainment systems. You know, one of the big pluses of all Class A motorhomes is the unbroken space between the driving and the living areas. This allows passengers the freedom to cook, to watch television, even play Monopoly or something, still be able to talk with the driver. It truly is a remarkable, self-contained home on wheels.
Come on, everyone.
Okay, Ron, you say Class A motorhomes start at about $40,000 for the smaller 23-foot models and can run upwards of $500,000 for the larger, more luxurious 40-foot units. Now, besides the spacious accommodations, the Class A also affords us the use of a bed, kitchen, and bathroom while rolling down the road. You know, for people who can afford it and who want to really travel in style, these are superb vehicles. Now it's time to talk about selecting the RV that best suits your own particular needs and budget. There are 5 questions
Right here.
you should ask yourself. First, how much can you afford to spend? Take into account that your RV can be used as a second car, a guest bedroom at home, or a replacement cabin at the lake. Then, ask yourself, how will you use it? Do you plan on occasional weekend camping or more extensive full-time living? Next, figure out how much space you need. Think of your family size and how often you plan to use the unit. Also, consider how many conveniences you want, what style of camping you enjoy. Do you prefer primitive camping, or do you enjoy traveling with all the modern conveniences and appliances? And lastly, ask yourself where you're going to park your RV when you're not using it. Find out if it's legal to park it in your driveway, your yard, or your street. Or, if you need to store it somewhere, you better find out how much that's going to cost. Now, we've seen that RV prices can run from as low as $1,500 right on up to $500,000. So, I figured now is a good time to ask Ron about the financing options that are available to buyers today.
Yes, Pat, there are loans available through banks and savings and loans, credit unions, RV dealerships is a good place, even some RV clubs.
What kind of terms can people expect to get?
Normally they range from 7 to 15 years. The banks require normally a larger down payment of, probably less than 20% most of the time. Dealerships 10 to 20%.
Sounds manageable. You can also buy a used or a previously owned RV, can't you?
Absolutely. Loans usually require 20 to 25% down on the used vehicles, but the initial outlay is less expensive because of the lower overall price.
Let's just quickly recap what Ron just told us. There are a number of places that offer loans to the RV buyer. Banks, savings and loans, credit unions, RV dealerships, and RV clubs such as Good Sam. Loans will range from 7 to 15 years, and banks usually require a slightly larger down payment than RV dealerships. If you're buying a used RV, you'll find that the percentage of the down payment is higher, 20 to 25%, but the initial outlay is less due to the lower overall price. I understand that renting RVs is becoming very popular these days.
Yes, they have. In fact, rentals have increased 50% every year since 1980. It's a great introduction to the RV lifestyle, a good way to learn what you need.
Speaking of economy, what kind of price range are we talking about?
Normally on a motorhome, we're talking $80 to $115 per day during the peak season. On a folding trailer, it'll run anywhere from $20 to $30 a day.
It's good to remember that renting is a great way to get a taste of the RV lifestyle and help you discover the type of RV you enjoy. Motorhomes are the most popular, with prices ranging from $80 to $115 a day during peak season. Folding camping trailers are also popular and very affordable, running from $20 to $30 a day. Following our talk, the moment I'd been waiting for finally came. Ron took me to see the RV that Traveland had selected for me to use on this video. A beautiful 32-foot Shasta Revere. Can't wait to get it out on the road. I thanked Ron for all his help. He'd shown us a great selection of RVs and a decent number of ducks, geese, and chickens.
The greatest thing.
What more could you ask for from the first leg of our trip? But there's a lot more ground to cover to give an accurate overview of the world of RVing. So I said goodbye to travel land. It was time to hit the road. Well, I'm moving across this country that I love, down by the sea and up to the highest mountain. Blue skies are all around me as I go. Feel the freedom roll on down the highway. You know, I'm really glad that you're along for this ride. I hope you're getting some of the feeling of what it's like to be out here on the open road.
I love
really
it.
Self-contained and feel like you're king of the road. You can stop anytime, anywhere. You got all the comforts of home. Hopefully you got people that you enjoy, family, friends with you. And everything you need is right where you are. You're footloose, fancy-free. It's a sensational feeling, and I don't think you ever get tired of it. Now, once you've purchased an RV, you'll soon discover that there are a number of optional accessories you may want to acquire for your rig. Like, for instance, the storage pod we see mounted on top of this trailer. We're headed north on the Santa Ana Freeway to an RV accessory outlet called Camping World. Actually, Shirley asked me only to pick up some garbage bags, but while we're there, we'll take a quick look at some of the ideas and the equipment available in RV accessory stores. Places like these are just invaluable to RVers because, as you can see, they've got just about everything you could want, from television sets with built-in VCRs, I mean nice ones, all sizes too, on down to leveling jacks and fuses and even these garbage bags. And believe me, if you're an RVing, you're going to need
I might as well try this out.
There's more. Some basic items that every RVer eventually is going to want to know about. Like a complete line of chemicals for your sanitation needs. And this is also a part of RVing. These are storage pods, and everybody needs more storage. Places like Camping World will install these on the roof of your RV. Here are generators. If your RV is not equipped with one, and you want to go camping where there isn't an electrical hookup, you're gonna need one of these. And these are awnings. You know, awnings are like an RVer's patio. The extra provides a relaxing, comfortable spot to entertain guests. Places like Camping World offer all sizes of awnings, and they'll install them for you at a surprisingly low price. Here, Herschel Schenevert, the manager, shows me how easy it is to work even the largest model. And of course, that creates almost another double the area, and that's your space. That's your space, that's correct. Now here at Camping World, you will install these anytime, any size. I really wished I'd had more time in Camping World because there are literally hundreds of tools and accessories available to RV enthusiasts. To see them for yourself and find out more about their uses, visit one of the RV camping stores in your area or attend one of the many RV shows that are held all over the country. You'll find a lot of information in RV trade magazines, and by all means, talk to other RVers. We're going to have a chance to do that later this afternoon. See, the plan is, today we'll head out to an RV park and talk to some folks who make RVing a way.
I love
Tomorrow, we have the picnic with Shirley and the grandkids. Looks like I've got some driving ahead of me, so once again, it's time to hit the road.
Time 15.
You know, when the Boone family goes RVing, more often than not, Shirley's sitting here doing the driving. She just loves it.
I love.
She really does, and she's good at it too. So, most of the time, I'm probably sitting right where you are with a map and maybe a crossword puzzle. Some people are just better navigators, you know. But I don't want to make our cameraman nervous, so for his sake, I'm just going to pretend that I usually do all the driving. April love is for the very young. Every star's a wishing star that shines for you. Driving an RV is easier than many newcomers think, but it still takes some getting.
I have.
Obviously, its size and weight make it different to drive than a typical passenger car, but it's not difficult as long as you take the time to consider and get accustomed to the differences. First of all, before leaving on a trip, sit in the driver's seat and adjust all rear view mirrors for the optimum view of the road. Always consider the size of your vehicle when making turns. Because the front and rear wheels are further apart than they are in a car, you'll have to make wider turns. Also, due to the vehicle's weight, you've got to allow more time to brake, change lanes, and enter busy highways. On highways, following distances should be longer to give you enough time to slow down in the event of an emergency. Consider the height of your vehicle. Be aware of road clearances under bridges and even service station canopies. Now, a good idea for the first-time RV driver is before you embark on your big maiden voyage, take your RV out for a spin in a quiet residential area or even an empty parking lot. This will allow you time to get accustomed to
for
its
my
size
favorite Goodwill.
and to practice simple maneuvers. Ultimately, the most important consideration to think about is be a defensive driver. Change lanes slowly. Be aware of upcoming road situations like steep grades, traffic, and unsafe road conditions. Preparation is essential in other areas too. See, it's always wise to have a good map and a good navigator to choose beforehand the route you plan to travel. Hey, looks like we've arrived at the RV park, and there's still plenty of daylight left.
Yes.
At most campgrounds, it's always a good idea to call ahead and make reservations. However, if you prefer impromptu stopovers, you'll only encounter some difficulties during peak travel times like holidays and summer weekends. Activities available to RVers will obviously vary from place to place. Swimming, boating, fishing, hiking, even horseshoes are always popular. And many parks and campgrounds offer a variety of social activities too, like potluck dinners, dances, concerts. You know, every lifestyle has its own lingo. I asked Don Friedman, the owner of this park, about some of the
great odor
given to the various types of RVers, like snowbirds.
Snowbirds are normally people that live out, we'll say, in the northern states. Montana, Idaho, Utah,
Where there's
anywhere up
lots
north
of
Maine.
snow.
A tremendous amount of snow and cold. So they'll come down here in November, December, January, and stay until that spring comes along.
Till
The
the snow
robins come out
falls,
there,
and
and
they
then
go
they're
home
back.
again,
We call
maybe.
them the snowbirds.
Now, one
right.
that's of particular interest to me, the boondockers.
We refer basically to boondockers like the boating crowd. They're the overnighters or the weekenders. Real fun crowd. Real fun. And they're enjoying life totally here, and it's really social.
They just want to run out of town.
Run out
for-
just to get away from that pressure. And
out to the boondocks.
out to the boondocks. That's it.
Don also told me about some national RV clubs like Good Sam, Coast to Coast, and Family Motor Coach Association. These wonderful clubs are open to all RVers, and they offer services like campground discounts, trip planning, emergency roadside assistance, and a variety of other helpful benefits.
Hey.
Steps Sesame. Yes, I always feel like royalty, you know, when those steps just open for me. Now I want to air out in there, so we'll just
No bugs.
secure. And the first thing, every RVer knows you've got to stretch. Then the next thing you do when you get to your campsite is make sure that the RV is going to stay level, so it's not going to roll any place. With motorhomes, of course, you can use the emergency brake, but with trailers, you're going to need a set of chocks or wheel blocks, you know, to keep it secure. You put those either in front or in back, whichever way the ground is sloping. Now, safety, common sense suggests that some motorhomes, too, could be chocked if the ground slopes so much that it might put a strain on the parking brake. In fact, I think it's probably a pretty good rule to follow all the time. Now, once you make sure you're not going anyplace, now you got to go hook up, which is what I'm about to do, to water, electrical, sewage. All those things are always supplied, and maybe some cable television too. Once you're all hooked up, you're home. Then I've never found a campsite
You
anywhere
can
in
do
America
whatever.
The most wonderful people aren't just waiting for you, and I'm going to go looking for them fast as I get hooked up. You know, besides the national RV clubs, there are what's called limited camping clubs open to owners of particular brands of RVs like Fleetwood, Winnebago, and Allegro, just to name a few. These clubs are an excellent way to make new friends and share experiences with other people who have similar interests. Fact is, I didn't have to walk too far before I ran into a real nice group of folks who were part of the Allegro Club, so named because they all travel in Allegro vehicles. I want to know about that hat.
Well, what do you want to know about this hat?
Well, it looks like to me it's got a fan in there.
It sure does. And boy, it's been all over the country.
And it's solar powered.
And battery powered.
And it has that fan blowing on your head all the time.
That's right, and it keeps me very cool.
You're not afraid you're going to catch a cold in the draft?
No. No way, sir.
The leaders of these groups are called wagon masters, just like in the Old West. And I talked with Evelyn Duvall, who is currently the wagon master for the Allegros. Evelyn, now I hear you're a wagon master, and you don't look a thing like Ward Bond to me. But you are a wagon master.
Yes, wagon master gets the park, collects the money, tries to figure out some fun activities for the weekend, sort of binds everything together.
Now, what types of things do you guys do when you do get together?
Tomorrow morning we'll have coffee and donuts at our coach at about 7. Our meeting will be at 10. We have one of our members, B. Weaver, who will be teaching the ladies a craft. The men will work on the coaches. Everybody shares ideas. Everybody has something new every month.
What about medical treatment? Suppose you get hurt, you have a flu, some other kind of medical problem comes up. What about doctors, hospitals?
As an example, last April, on one of these campouts, I was riding my bicycle and broke my shoulder in 5 places. We do have...
5? I didn't know a shoulder had 5.
Yes. We do have a doctor in our group, Dr. Peterson, who took care of me until the rescue squad arrived. And we were 26 miles from the hospital. But the little place where we were staying had an ambulance, and I got there. Every park, state, county, private park, they'll all have medical information for you at the office.
After hearing about Evelyn's accident, I discovered we actually had the man on the spot to chat with, Dr. Donald Peterson. Doc, I asked some of the folks here in the Allegro Club who had the most fun of this group, and they said you did most of it legal. and would you plead guilty to that?
I gotta plead guilty to that. I have a lot of fun. We've got such wonderful people in our group. They're all at different parts of life, and we just have a great time.
Where all have you gone?
Well, we traveled all through Alaska. Went with the Allegro Motorhome Club. We had 19 in our caravan. It was a caravan that lasted for 12 days, and we had a tremendous amount of fun there.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, because a lot of folks think that the RV lifestyle is largely sedentary. I mean, you're moving, but you're sitting in the RV. Then you get here, and you put out your awnings, and you sit some more. But you do some active things.
Yeah, we have a lot of things. We're playing horseshoes, and we're running around with our bikes, and a lot of things. Hiking.
Here you use the lake, I'm sure.
Here we use the lake, right?
Of course, most of the Allegro group are retired people enjoying their later years as RV enthusiasts. However, there are many young people who also enjoy this mobile outdoor lifestyle. Just across the way, I talked with Clyde and Terry Dare, a young family who turned out to be second-generation RVers. Obviously, you're not 50 or 60 years old. Have you been RVing long?
Well, it's been in the family for quite a long time.
You sort of inherited the itch.
Our parents have been doing it ever since we were kids, and